Hello everyone, welcome to Product Chronicles, Product Stories from Jaco. I'm Joca Torres, here to share with you real product stories from Jaco, showcasing how to tackle product management and digital transformation challenges through stories from my over 30-year career helping companies build successful products and the lessons I've learned along the way. The plan was to discuss product culture, but a dilemma with one of my clients made me change the subject. If you've ever been involved in discussions about product success, you've probably come across the question, what comes first, the experience or the value delivered to the user? This is a common dilemma among startup co-founders and product leaders. From my experiences at Gympass and other companies, I've explored both sides of this issue, and that's exactly what we will talk about today, shall we? At one of my clients, a pre-revenue startup, the co-founders are debating whether to focus on the value delivered to the user by the product or the user experience to ensure success. Both have strong design backgrounds, and one co-founded and led agencies for more than 20 years, while the other one has over 10 years of experience in publishing and advertising. When presented with this choice, it is common to hear, let's do both. At this point, I explained the importance of focus. Developing strategy means choosing what to do and what not to do. Johnny Ive, the former head of design at Apple, explained this idea brilliantly in a video, an interview that I often show to my clients. It's an interview where he talks about what Steve Jobs taught him about focus. I recommend you searching it. And product development is all about making choices and focusing on what is truly important to the success of this specific moment of the product. As the former Apple design chief Johnny Ive brilliantly explains in this video, he says that focus is saying no to something that you, with every bone in your body, think is a phenomenal idea, but you say no to because you're focused on something else. So, this is the dilemma between experience and value. Should we focus on building a product that delivers a fantastic customer experience or on creating a product that provides value to our customers? Ideally, I know that we should have both, but since we should prioritize, we should choose one. One should come before the other. And the short answer is, first, we need to deliver value, then the experience. Why? Because delivering a fantastic experience while delivering little to no value is doomed to failure, while value with a bad experience can be very successful. How many apps have we downloaded that had a great design, a fantastic experience? We used them once and then we discarded. On the other hand, our bank's app, for example, may have a horrible experience, but if it allows us to do what we need to do, like checking the account, transferring money, so delivering actual value to us, we will continue to use it no matter the experience. So let me share some stories that illustrate this. When I joined Gympass, the company was growing rapidly, but the digital experience for users, gyms, and HR departments was lacking. Even so, the value delivered was so significant that growth accelerated, providing that value trumps experience at the beginning of the journey. We then began working hard to improve the experience of our products, which became our main focus. I want to emphasize that experience is not just about the interface. Our product requires a lot of manual work. When HR sent us a spreadsheet with their employees, they had to send it because our system didn't have any integration with HR systems. Then we received that spreadsheet and we processed it manually with our operations team that grew at the same speed as our sales. And we know that manual processing results in slowness and many, many errors, which generate a bad customer experience. We maintained this focus for over a year, despite several other very attractive opportunities to explore. Only when we understood that the experience was okay, reasonable enough, even though there was room for improvement, we started to explore new opportunities. One of the ideas we decided to explore at the end of 2019 was the idea of an apps marketplace, which we called Gympass Wellness at the time. The idea was to offer apps not only for physical activities, but also for meditation, nutrition, and mental well being. Before thinking about the experience, we thought about the value. What value are we going to deliver to the apps? Access to our customers. And how can we test this cheaply and quickly as possible? Let's sell this partnership opportunity. We then created a slide deck explaining the opportunity and presented it to 8 apps, of which 6 showed interest and 4 of them agreed to participate in our pilot. Note that what we sold was value, not experience. And then, what value are we going to deliver to our customers? Access to these apps in the same monthly subscription model that Gympass delivers by giving access to tens of thousands of gyms. So how can we test this as cheaply and quickly as possible? Let's sell the product on a landing page, explain the value delivered, and see if people are interested. We ended up building a very, very simple landing page with a form asking for name, email, and company they worked for, and also their credit card information, because we were testing the willingness to pay, willingness to subscribe. But very simple. It was a form. The experience was not the best. There was no logged in area, and the account activation in each of the apps was made through a link that the apps provided us. But the value delivered was great, was even greater, especially because we were ready to launch in February 2020, when we all know what happened. The pandemic hit the world. So Gympass customers, the regular Gympass customers, they started calling us saying that they wanted to cancel or at least suspend their contracts because their employees were on lockdown and gyms were closed. So we used Gympass Wellness as one of our main retention tools. We grew from 4 to 90 apps in 2 months and from 0 to 500,000 users in 5 months. We delivered value and started focusing on improving the user experience with better integration with the apps and better access to the apps that we made it simpler through the main Gympass app. This value delivery was so great that it even promoted the evolution of the company's purpose from defeating inactivity to making well-being universal, and even more recently, changing the brand from Gympass to WellHub. A third example is from a client of mine who works with one of the essential services like water, electricity, telephone, and whose main value offer to their customers is the reduction in their monthly bill of this essential service. The experience is still far from being the best. They have many manual processes to grant this reduction, and the customer journey from signing up to being able to use the service is far from ideal. They are growing a lot. Even though without a good experience, they are growing a lot because the value delivery is very high. Having clarity now on the value delivered, now they are focusing on improving the experience. Based on these 3 examples, Gympass Wellness, and my client from the essential services sector, we can see that the value delivered was the real deciding factor for growth. Even with poor initial experience, the value perceived by users was so great that it allowed these companies to grow exponentially. Once the value was defined, the focus shifted to improving the experience. And you can ask, what about Apple? Apple is really focused on delivering a fantastic experience. Those who argue that experience is the most important factor often cite Apple as an example. However, even Apple's most successful products only triumphed when the value delivered was clear. Let me give you some examples where the experience came after value. iPod, for instance. There were already several MP3 players on the market with relative success. So the value of an MP3 player was proven. Even before the value delivered by MP3 players, Walkman already delivered this value of listening to music anywhere in an individual way. So the value was proven. Then, with clearly value delivery proven, the focus on experience paid off with the iPod. iPhone. iPhone is a mobile phone. And back then, a mobile phone connected to the internet, like many other smartphones at the time, like Nokia and BlackBerry, already proved the value of having a mobile phone connected to the internet. And the MP3 players, as we just discussed about iPod, the value was already demonstrated. So when Apple decided to join mobile phone with access to internet, with MP3 player, the value of those three things were already proven. And then they focused on delivering the amazing experience and launched the iPhone in 2007. But as I said, the value was proved. Then they focus on experience. On the other hand, there are some interesting examples where Apple delivered a good experience, but the value was not clear. Apple Newton, which was a PDA, a personal digital assistant, was launched back in 1993 and had an okay experience, similar to other PDAs, but still, it was more expensive and delivered little value because some of the features didn't work correctly. So much so that in 1996, Palm, which focused first on delivering value, it was small, it was affordable, it has clear value, delivering calendar, contact, and note-taking features that actually worked. Palm ended up leading the PDA market. Another example is Apple Maps, launched in 2012, had a very cool user experience and was even praised for its visually appealing design. However, because the maps were incomplete, the value delivered fell short of expectations, generating a lot of dissatisfaction to the point that the Apple CEO apologized publicly for this mistake. More recently, we have Apple Vision Pro that has been praised as fantastic integration with all the Apple ecosystem, and the quality of its mixed reality experience also very well regarded by who use the equipment. However, there are many critics that talks about its comfort, the social interaction when using it, the content limitations, and even other technical aspects that show us that simply delivering a good experience is not enough. If there is no precise delivery of value, customers will not buy. So when we evaluate Apple, we realize that its most successful products, such as iPod and iPhone, had proven their value before the experience was improved. In contrast, products like Apple Newton and Apple Maps, and who knows, Apple Vision Pro, they are focused too much on experience, but no clear value delivery, which may cause them to fail. It caused Apple Newton and Apple Maps, and we still don't know about Apple Vision Pro. This teaches us an important lesson: value must come before experience. So in summary, If we have to choose where to focus on product development, we should first deliver value and then talk about experience. Products that deliver value have a much better chance of thriving, even with less than ideal initial experience. We can test, this is important, we can test and validate value delivery simply, quickly, and inexpensively. For instance, to test Gympass Wellness's value, we used a few slides and a landing page. Once the value is defined, the experience can be improved to ensure customer retention and loyalty. This is the path to lasting success. So, if you are facing this dilemma in your company, please contact me and we can discuss how I can collaborate with you to build a strategy focusing on delivering value from the beginning, with the ideal experience being built when it makes sense to build it so we can ensure a long-term success. In the next episode, my plan is to talk about product culture, a topic that I consider critical for any company that is undergoing a digital transformation. And what we've just discussed about delivering first value and then experience is part of this product culture. Remember to follow the podcast, share it with your network, and send us your questions through Jaco's social media. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode of Product Chronicles, Product Stories from Jaco.